Hello, it's been a while. Let's just get straight into this Gorod Krovi review. Like every single one of its predecessors in Black Ops 3, GK is an amazing experience. However, for a long time I didn't really see the true value of the map. I just recognized it as a perfectly serviceable experience. That changed when I was doing everything for this video. Having to engage with everything to get a full grasp on the map, which I hadn't really done before, enhanced the experience by a lot, which should be obvious, but this is me we're talking about. Specifically, the map shot up from about number 10 on my ranking to about my top 5. It even surpasses Dreisendrach, which in my review for it I called the objectively best zombies map, which isn't a hot take, but I don't know if I'd stand by it anymore. Now, let's dive into what makes Gorod Krovi one of the best maps in COD Zombies history. There I go again, making sweeping statements I may not agree with in just a few weeks. Where better to start than what you'll see when you first start playing? The intro cutscene, like every other one with licensed music, stands as a great hype machine. The intro is pure chaotic energy all the way through. The crew falling out of the sky, the dragon, Nikolai and his mech fighting both zombies and dragons, everything. What I'm about to say might sound stupid, but I mean it. I really like how the cutscene transitions to gameplay with no time passed. The crew are attacked by Nikolai, they run into the starting room, and the game begins. Of course, all intro cutscenes should transition into the gameplay logically, but I don't know, to me it just stands out here. Gorod Krovi's setting is definitely one of the more unique ones in zombies. It's Stalingrad, but it's not just your average war-torn city. Where GK sets itself apart from the other city maps is pretty obvious. I'll point it out for the people who may not have noticed, though. Yeah, it's the dragons. Zombies plus dragons is a great decision that is so indescribably stupid, I love it. There are also giant robots here, like on Origins. Unfortunately, they're just for decoration and the occasional trap. Still kinda cool, though. Logically, after talking about setting, layout should be next. Surprise, surprise, GK's is pretty good. Definitely the best in Black Ops 3. I only have, one complaint about it. The starting room's pretty sizable, and only has one way out, which is pretty unusual. GK continues including challenges after Zetsubou. The difference is that they're not integral to gameplay here, which was admittedly annoying, even if it's my favorite map. Leaving the starting room puts you into the department store, a 3-level building with 3 paths to go down. The far left path leads to the infirmary, which includes stamina up as its main feature. The far right path is the armory, which doesn't have much beyond a shield part. Finally, the middle path leads to the bunker. There's 2 perks on this path. This is also where a bunch of progression stuff happens. Finally, there's the one and only buildable table on the map. The bunker branches off to both of the other paths I mentioned before. Both right and left paths have 2 other exits, however one of them on each side is blocked off until power's on. Therefore you're funneled into the Dragon Command Center, one of 3 paths to PAP, and the main hub for the quest. A simple switch is all you need to turn on the power on this map. Now you're able to start unlocking the Pack-a-Punch location and go down to the previously locked pathways. The infirmary leads to the tank factory, a 2-level building where you'll find double tap in the second Pack-a-Punch path. The armory leads to the supply depot, another 2-level building, where you'll find speed cola and the final path to PAP. Overall, the main locations are laid out very simply and are well connected. There's one odd thing about it, though, and that's that on the 3rd floors of both infirmary and armory is a bridge connecting the 2. You just have to pay a toll to pass through. It's really pointless, and I don't really get why it's not just a standard door buy. Now, on to the final area of the map, the Pack-a-Punch building. I'll get into the unlock method in just a moment, but I just want to say that I still don't like having disconnected areas on a map, even if you get a ride from a dragon to get there. I don't know, it's just a hang-up I have. What is cool is that the PAP building has a lot packed into it. God damn it. The main floors are mostly used for the lockdowns, and the basement is used for the dragon egg. The exit's also down there. You just jump into a sewer pipe and are blasted out into the starting room, making this the 2nd map in a row to put you into sewer water. Also, if you're mid-round, the zombies all seem to spawn in instantly when you get back to the starting room. It's a little terrifying. Overall, I really like how simple and interconnected this map is. 2 sides with a middle that attaches to both. Now let's talk about the Pack-a-Punch method. It's probably the simplest of the BO3 maps. After power's on, zombies will drop code cylinders corresponding to each branch of the map, which you can use to call down Groff modules. They land in a random area of the map, and you need to defend them for them to open. Do this 3 times, and you'll have the parts you need to activate the console in the bunker, allowing you to summon dragons at each platform to get you to PEP. My only issue with this process is how formulaic it is. I just wish the code cylinders dropped in a random order every game, rather than being Dragon Command Supply Depot Tank Factory. So now that we can Pack-a-Punch, what is there new to upgrade on this map? There's the PPSH, which had been absent since World at War. I remember when the reveal came out, people went crazy for it. There's also the FFAR, which returns from Black Ops 1, and it doesn't disappoint at all. Then there's the NX Shadow Claws, the only disappointing addition. Next, we've got the RPK, an LMG from Black Ops 1, and the L4 Siege, which is an actually practical rocket launcher, and that's awesome. So yeah, the map has some great guns, and that's before even talking about wonder weapons, which all of them knock it out of the park. The Mark III is 100% my favorite rendition of the ray gun, and it helps that I love dual wielding. It's like if the Apothicon Servant was cool, and I'm only half joking with that statement. Anyway, the Mark III can slow zombies with one shot and fire rays with the other. Combine the two, singularity. It'll pretty much insta-kill anything it touches for a good amount of rounds. Moving on to the Specialist, that's the Gauntlet of Siegfried. Pure coolness, a 115-powered rocket gauntlet with a baby dragon on top of it. It's really fun to send out the dragon and just rocket punch through hordes. Beware explosive zombies though, hit one too many of them and you're just dead. A special bomb on this map is obtained from a lockdown in the Pack-a-Punch building. You have to do 4 waves of defense, and then you can retrieve the Dragon Strikes. It's basically a monkey bomb that, while more powerful, only works properly outdoors. The lockdown is pretty fun, but admittedly becomes a monotonous activity to do every game if you're like me and want all the weaponry. And since the shield is actually really good for offense on this map, let's talk about it. The Guard of Fafnir. Normally, it's just a shield, like all of them are, but its alternative use sees it shoot extremely powerful fireballs that do AoE damage. For that alone, in my opinion, it's the best shield in the series, even if I honestly am not a fan of its appearance. One other thing it can do is block all fire damage from the dragon, which comes in very, very useful in the boss fight. And what can we use all these spectacular weapons on? Gorod Krovi's enemy variety is pretty good for the most part. There's the Manglers, who are not too much of a threat aside from their projectiles, which heavily track you. I really like how they look, probably one of my favorite enemy designs in the series. The other reoccurring enemy is the Valkyrie drone. I used to really hate these things, but after replaying the map a bit recently, that hatred just vanished. They're not exactly the pinnacle of enemy design, but I don't think they're as much of a nuisance as I initially pinned them. The only time they're annoying is when you have to track them down so they stop spawning electric zombies. A unique aspect of this map that I really like is Sophia. She doesn't do much other than comment on your actions from time to time, but I really like the demeaning and sarcastic way she talks to the crew. It's pretty funny, especially since you're going back to her over and over for the quest. I also like how during the quest, she starts to have idle dialogue for whenever you go into Dragon Command. Since Sophia's so important for the Easter egg, let's talk about it. It's both one of the best and most annoying at the same time. I think it's the second weakest premise quest overall, only really being better than Revelations, and maybe Blood of the Dead. As I did in my last Zombies video, I'll go step by step giving my thoughts along the way. The premise is that you're running around doing errands for Sophia, so she'll hand over a power core for Nikolai's mech. The first thing you'll be able to do for the quest is gather some trophies scattered around. The first one you can get from the Dragon Command building. You have to shoot it out of the statue's hand and it'll fall down. The next trophy can be obtained from the Tank Factory. Simply blast the exposed pipes with the shield and the trophy will appear next to Double Tap. 2 trophies are found in the supply depot. The first one's from using a Dragon Strike on a puddle to the left of the Ares entrance, and the other one is from using the I-beam trap to burn a hole in the ground. Another trophy takes 2 trips to the Pack-a-Punch building. The first time you leave, you can shoot a red light inside the sewer, which will turn it green. Once you come back, the trophy will be in the clogged toilet on the first floor. And the final trophy requires you to punch a safe in the bunker with the gauntlet. I kinda enjoy the step. It's pretty easy, and I personally find it satisfying to collect every trophy. It's also nice that you can do this intermittently between other steps. This is technically the third step of the quest after all. It's just that you can do a lot before getting to the first real step. The actual first step is the valve step. I don't think anyone likes it. To begin, you have to kill a Valkyrie drone in the basement of the Pack-a-Punch building to turn on a generator. After that, all the valves around the map will activate. The goal here is to open the airflow between the randomized point A and B. I'll level with you. I never tried to learn this step. Every run, I just used an algorithm to do it for me. As such, I don't find it enjoyable, but I've heard the horror stories of how this was one of the hardest steps in a quest before that algorithm was created. Next up, you retrieve the cylinder from the end pipe and bring it to Sophia. Then you enter the code Kronos, no idea where that came from, to activate it. For some reason, you have to shoot the code in rather than use the interact button, which is annoying, especially since sometimes the shots don't even register. After you punch in the code, you can place all the trophies into the console across from Sophia, and this is the start of the trials. First, I'll cover the 2 escort trials, one of which is terrible and the other tolerable. Firstly, the Mangler escort. The main challenge here is just finding him. Once you do, just shoot off his arm and he'll run after you. Just lead him to Dragon Command and it's done. The other escort step is the Valkyrie drone escort. This one is much more annoying because in order for it to move, you need to be right next to it. More often than not, I go down once during this step out of fear of shooting in the general direction of the drone. Actually leading the drone from spawn to Dragon Command usually sees me running a whole map train over and over till it finally reaches its destination. The hardest part is definitely getting it to the top of the department store, though, because of all the tight areas. The next trial I'll talk about is the Gersh trial, and on paper this one isn't too bad, but in execution it's definitely my least favorite of the trials. What you have to do here is hunt down a glowing yellow orb that is actually Gersh and shoot it until it moves 3 times. Finding it the first time is the most difficult, but after that you'll get a trail of light in whatever direction he goes. Also, rest in peace, Gersh. You will be missed. Next is the bomb trial. Depending on if you can memorize the pattern of the bombs or not, this one's a run killer. Luckily, I can just screen record the order and reference it if I forget it. Yes, I am cheating. No, I don't regret it. This is basically just Simon Says, but spread across the whole map, and if you're wrong, you die. Or down. I don't hate it, but I do think that the defuse order is a little bit too quick to show. The second to last trial I'll talk about is the Groff module defense step. This one's really easy and low stakes compared to all the others because no zombies spawn in the map for it. Once the trial activates, a Groff module appears at one of the 3 dragon platforms outside of the map, and you just have to defend it like the others. Once you're done, you just send your little dragon friend to get the item and deliver it to Sophia. The final trial is always the lockdown. I've never done it legitimately. It's very easily cheesable. What it normally would be is a timed lockdown in the PAP building where you only fight Manglers. If you cheese it though, you just run the last Mangler and wave run around a train until time's up. After you finish, you deliver the data to Sophia, and now that every trial is complete, Sophia hands over the power core for Nikolai's mech, commenting about how insane the crew has to be to do such trivial tasks for something so easy acquired. Ha ha! Go to the spawn room with it, and send out your dragon to give it to Nikolai. Then return to Dragon Command, where Sophia will fly into space, leaving the entrance to the boss room open. She'll also tell you that you probably won't win. Thanks, Sophia. The boss fights. God, I really don't enjoy one of them. The first phase of the battle, you ally with Nikolai to take down the dragon that's been tormenting you the entire game. Most of this phase consists of running through flames, cowering in corners, and dodging fireballs, waiting for Nikolai to create an opening for you, all while being harassed by numerous zombies, Manglers, and Valkyries. This is the phase that I like. It's genuinely pretty fun to do battle with a dragon while fighting alongside a mech. It's not something we ever saw before in zombies at the time, and I doubt it's something we'll ever see again. It's not too difficult to be annoying, but it is challenging enough to be engaging. Following the dragon's takedown, you have to fight Nikolai, who refuses to give his life for your cause. I don't know if this is a controversial take, but I absolutely hate this boss fight. It's quite possible that I simply don't get what I have to do, but I can only take so many instant beatdowns before I snap. To defeat Nikolai, you have to shoot the lights on his mech. The problem is that he can kill you before you have a red screen, which if you're solo like me, results in you having to do the entire quest all over again. You could say skill issue, and it is. I died 4 times before being able to understand what was even going on, and then I just decided to do the in plain sight cheese on him. So did I really complete the quest? I feel like I cheated, but I think anyone could understand not wanting to go through the whole 2-hour process again and again just to fail. That said, I do still go through it now and again to attempt the fight legitimately. Upon defeat, you get the ending cutscene. Like I did in my last video, I'll let some of it play out.
You think you will kill me now? I am sorry, Nikolai. I wish there was another way. But know this, in my heart, I share the same pain as you. The pain that you have buried and blurred beneath an alcohol-fueled haze. Yes, the pain of your own memory. You loved and you lost. Everything else has been delusional fantasy that distance you from painful truth. You know what I speak of. You remember. Before the bombs fell. Before she was taken from us. Some things are forgotten. For a reason!
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that information about losing his love in a bombing was revealed in this scene. I like how you see the differences between the Nikolais here. For Takio, both of them were very similar in their loyalty to the Emperor, and the shattering of it. For Nikolai, though, they have both got different ways of dealing with their past tragedies. Ultimus drowns it in vodka, and Primus suppresses it behind his zombie-killing adventures. In this cutscene, we somewhat see how Ultimus is too far gone when he, instead of facing his problems, tries to kill his other self. The cutscene is very good, for sure. Personally, I prefer the Zetsubo ending and how it develops Takio. This cutscene, while giving you some insight into Nikolai, doesn't push development all that much, although there was only one map after to show it. So I guess you have to cut it a little slack there. Overall, this quest is one of highs and lows, mostly due to its trials and how some of them are terrible while the best of them are just okay. It redeems itself in the end with the dragon boss, only to drag itself back down with the Nikolai battle. Despite that, Gorod Krovi absolutely deserves to go down as one of the best zombies maps of all time for its general gameplay and what it brought to the table that was unique. And in my review process for this map, I'm glad to have seen the true greatness it has. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and sub, and I'll see you in the next one.